Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we are wrapping up the month of July in my reading journal. A couple of things to note. At the beginning of the video I showed you that my bookmark broke when I opened the book. I was very devastated because I use it quite a lot. These things do happen with these types of journals. I find that the ribbon always comes away from the binding. And then the second thing is that I did try to cover my scar on my hand. If you've been watching the videos recently, you'll know that I had an injury to my hand. This day when I filmed this was the first day I had without bandaging on my hand, and I figured I would film because well, this scar is going to take a while to heal, so there's going to be a lot of videos with it in it. I do apologize if it's not ideal for people to see, but this is just my clumsy life on full display for you all. It was quite sore when I was filming this as well. There's a couple of times where you'll see that I reach for my hand and sort of massage it, but I was working on a timeline. The other thing I'm going to mention is that my dog has just suddenly decided to play with her toy, so if you hear any noises in the background, she is trying to get my attention. Now let's get into this actual video. We are doing the stats page as usual for the first part of this video, and I had a really great month for reading. If you've been following for a little bit over the last few months, you'll know that I've had a lot going on with family. My grandmother moved into a rest home and I have been clearing out her house so we could sell it for many months now, and also dealing with a lot of other personal things, and I've not had time to read, and I've been quite depressed about it. Well, I think that's the wrong word to use, but I've just been really low about my reading and not as happy with the progress that I've been making, because there's been some great books that I've really wanted to get through and not had time for. But over the month of July, I had a fantastic time. I read a total of 13 books, and a lot of them were 4-star ratings, which I think is just great. 4 stars is typically the number I give out the most, and that means I enjoyed myself, so I'm very happy with that. We also had some new adult books for the first time this year, which I probably have read some new adult books, but they've been marketed as like either young adult or adult, so I've left them in those categories. But it was nice to have finally something to fill in on the audience level there for new adult. There's me flexing my hand because it hurts. Very interesting how difficult things are to do when you've got an injury that goes into the webbing of your hand. Anyway, I had a total of 5,246 pages read, an average of 3.9. I read 6 arcs. I can't remember how many books I brought because I wasn't listing them down. I hired out 4 books from the library. I read a total of 8 different series. Some of them I read more than one in the same month of. There were 4 standalones. I thankfully didn't DNF anything. And for physical, I read 3 copies. For ebooks, I read 6. For audiobooks, I read 3, and I had 1 mixed read, which was House of Sky and Breath. There's my pen rolling off and making mistakes. My hand gave way. For types, I had 12 novels and 1 novella. And audience, like I mentioned, I have 9 adult books, 2 new adult, and 2 YA, which I think was fantastic because, let's be real, I read a lot of YA still. For star ratings, I had 3 3-star ratings, and that was the lowest, which was pretty good. 1 3.5, 6 4 stars, 1 4.5, and 3 5-star reads. So all in all, a really good month. A lot of the books I did really enjoy. There were 3 that I didn't enjoy. One was an arc. The other was the novella. I was just filling in a prompt, the short book prompt, and I just picked up the shortest book on my Kindle, and it started out really cute. It's called How to Get a Girlfriend When You're a Terrifying Monster by Marie Kovalic. 𝓘𝓽𝓮𝓮, and yeah, unfortunately it lost me along the way. My reading update's already up. I will link it in the description if you want to check that out and find out more about the books that I read. And I think the other 3-star rating I gave was The Long Game, and that was actually an ARC as well. And so I started the month on a 3-star, ended it on a 3-star, which was quite interesting, but in between had some really good reads. I didn't get through all the books that I wanted to complete over this month. They have rolled over into August, but I'm hopeful that I can get through them fast enough. But I really enjoyed this series. You can see that for the best read I have The Siren of Sussex by Mimi Matthews. It is book 1 in the Bells of London series. That was my favourite book, and I also enjoyed the other one. It's a historical romance and I highly recommend it. Like I said, just check out my reading update if you want to know more about them. We have finished with the stats page and we're now moving on to filling in everything else. I hadn't yet put down Pestilence in my bookshelf page, so I'm just doing that now before we move into my favourite page to fill in every month on these videos, and that is the Day's Red Pixels. I love watching this come together, especially with the purple. It doesn't look like much when you're putting it down on the page, it's very dark, but watching it with the time lapse and it going brighter as I continue on putting down the colours is always my favourite thing to watch. This month I actually didn't read any I didn't read 3 or more books on one day, so you won't see that colour, but for the rest of it, it's pretty on average with how we were looking over the last couple of months. Most of it was 1 book a day, but at least I was reading, and the others were just 2 books a day. I think I had about 5, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, there's one that I've missed, days where I didn't read, which was pretty good. I'm hoping that this month of August I'm trying to do read 50 pages a day as a bit of a challenge. A friend of mine's doing a bigger challenge that her dad challenged her with, and I was inspired, so I thought I'd try and do 50 pages a day. So hoping that I don't have any massive amounts of days where I don't read over the month of August. But in July, I think that was pretty good considering I'd been having a lot of time away from reading, and it was nice to see a lot more days where I was reading 2 books as well, or reading long. It's really challenging because this doesn't show how long I read for, and I was definitely reading for longer periods over July, so very happy with overall the progress of this month, and it's led me into feeling hopeful that I can do just as well in August. Things are definitely slowing down now in life, which is fantastic, and I hope that they continue to. We're now moving through the book. I'm trying to do things while that page dries. I really need to get a heat gun so I can dry the pens a little bit faster, but by the time I flip through a little bit, I knew that I could flip it down and not have any issues because the wax paper would catch the small amount that was still not dry. Moving on to the final pages that I had to fill in because there was no trackers in the challenges that I could fill in for the month of July, and I'm just putting in the monthly theme for August, which is Love Theoretically, and filling in my ratings for the book club reads. I gave 4.5 stars to Fourth Wing. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for book 2, and I didn't read the romance book because I didn't pick it up in time to join in. Around the middle of the month I was quite busy. For the month of August, these are the 2 reads for both book clubs. We are almost through the poison season as I record this, and I'm not enjoying it. And I'm really looking forward to the romance read, so hopefully that'll be my 5-star, at least a 5-star for the month, because I'm predicting it to be one. We're now moving into my stats book, and I'm just filling in those details in the beginning. I really need to write down what I buy each month. I'm really behind in filling that in, so I need to go through and spend some time figure out when I brought books this year. Arcs are going okay. I have quite a few still that I haven't yet got through, so the aim for the month of August to try and do some more and get ahead again, but I'm not behind, so that's a bonus. This series tracker really needed an updating, so I have unhauled Serpent and Dove. I don't want to read the rest of the series, so that was why I coloured that out in grey. and I'm now adding in the ones that needed to be updated with the blue pen. That's what represents 2023 reads. And every time I go through this page, it's always funny to see me trying to figure out what the series title is for each book. I have finished the Dangerous Damsels series, so that is why I'm colouring in the rest of it pink. And moving on with the list, there are a few new series to add as well at the end. I don't know why I hadn't put the grey marker over top of the Bromance Book Club, because I gave up on it a while ago, and I had completed the series I think 2 months ago, so definitely needed an update. I think when I film these videos I kind of am in a rush because I'm aware that I'm running out of time on my camera. I only have the one battery, which I really need to invest in a second one, because I always get to the end of doing these and I'm aware of sort of how much time I have to film, and I'm like, oh, I've got to hurry and get through it all. And I knew that I had more to do with this one. I also spelt flesh wrong, which is only something I've noticed right now, so I'm going to have to go fix that. But yeah, I definitely do rush the ends of these videos, which I would like to change, because I actually enjoy filling in this book, even though it's got really poor paper and we can see every mark through every page. I am really happy with how I set this up, and I can't wait to continue to use it into 2024. Moving on to the owned TBR, again, some more books to mark off that I've read, and thankfully I just had a couple of bits that I missed as well here, just unhauling another book that's been gone for a while. And yeah, it's pretty much self-explanatory. This is what we do every month. If you're new here, I go through everything and just mark it off. And I'm still really behind in updating the own TBR, so that's something maybe I should do a video about, and you can hold me accountable to that, because there's quite a few new books on my shelf that I've yet to realise that I've got. So there were a couple of things I had to fill in before I did the final flip through. That's where I realised I hadn't marked that off, and I also had to mark off another thing that I forgot to film. But thank you so much for spending some time with me as we go through the month of July in my reading journal. I really enjoyed this theme. It was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and I think it came together quite well. It was a nice month to read, and I'm really hopeful that the month of August will be just as great. Here's me flipping over to August now and being very distraught that I did not have a bookmark, so I decided to grab it anyway and put it back in the book. I have since made myself a bookmark for this page, so you'll get to see that in the future videos. But thank you again for spending time with me. I'll see you in a new video very soon, and I hope you're all well and have a great day or night where you are. Bye!